Good morning. This is Sri Primo with a quick recap of the women's semifinal and also a quick preview of the men's semifinal in about an hour and a half. So, quickly getting down to the second match first, where you had Coco Gauff playing against um, Boisson from France, who had two upsets back to back. She beat Pegula, she beat Andreeva. So this was her another chance to do a trifecta of upsets. And also, she had the French crowd that was, supporting her, a one-sided support that anyone would get. But she was facing the world number two, Coco Gauff. And despite the fact that Coco has kind of struggled with her serving, at least in some major matches, and that's going to be coming in handy. That's going to come back if that's going to be the trend. But anyway, coming back to this match, Coco was just phenomenal. She jumped on to a very quick lead and never looked back. Boisson had no answers to Coco's power. I think it was just I was really surprised to kind of see the highlights as well, and a little surprised. Give credit to Boisson for beating Pegula and Andreeva, but little surprised to see how she was completely dominated by Coco, because Coco was just phenomenal. She continued to push Boisson on both sides of the court and then whips a forehand down the line. Her forehand was clicking, backhand was clicking as well. Serving, like I said, was not great, but her first serve percentage was only 63%, something that she needs to think about when she plays Sabalenka. But the good news for her is the second serve was that even though she won 80% of points, and this is the big thing here, break points. 6 out of 7 break points she won. So that's where she won most of her points today. She won 4 games in a row at one stretch. So there was nothing stopping Coco today. Breeze through 6-1, 6-2. The French crowd that was there supporting Boisson for the last 2 matches didn't have much to cheer for. Coco was just dominant. Going back to the next match, Sabalenka and Swiatek, this was an unbelievable game. Starting of the gate, it looked like Sabalenka was going to run off with this match. She got a 4-1 lead. It was a 30-40 break she had. So it looked everything was trending in Sabalenka's favor. But Swiatek came back with some excellent back and forth rallies, multiple rallies, in fact. Got to watch some of the highlights. But, you see the way, both of them play. Sabalenka hits the ball hard, but Iga continues to know where to place the ball and then finishes off with like a flare. And both of them, and then also the drop shots was working for Swiatek as well. So the first set, after that, it was back and forth. They went all the way to the tiebreaker. And just when you thought that Iga gained the momentum, she was down 4-1. She came back, tied it at 4-all, and then the games were going back and forth. Once they got into the tiebreaker, you had Sabalenka kind of dominate, establish her power, and then took a very quick 3-0 lead, and then never looked back. And she continued to dominate the rest of the tiebreaker, won it at 7-1. But then in the second set, Iga turned it around very quickly. Got an early break, turned it around, and then started to put more pressure on Sabalenka. Sabalenka was kind of suffocated by some great shots from Iga, and Iga was able to take the next set 6-4, and then here we go again. I was thinking about it. And I said, oh, wow, Iga's won 4 out of the 5 French Opens. She's got the momentum going in our favor. She got the momentum in the first set. She got the momentum. She won the second set. So the third set should be a good battle going in. But guess what happened? I mean, Sabalenka just completely turned it around. And this is like another player who's now playing as best as she could. And she was just unreal and completely dominant and didn't give Iga any chances for her to make a comeback. And she piled on games, and with each game that she piled on, the pressure looked more and more on Iga, and then she could never recover. And the next thing you know, Sabalenka was done winning 6-0. So that's where we are with the women's final. So let's quickly go down to what we have today. Today we have the men's singles final. Can Djokovic pull another one? Can he beat another top 5 player and go to the final? And this time he gets Sinner at 1 p.m. That's the later match, and then you got the Musetti Alcaraz at the first match. But I do think that it's going to be a fun match between all 4 of them. In fact, Musetti played against Alcaraz, if I'm not mistaken, in the Rome Open that Alcaraz won. But this is going to be incredible. Novak actually has a great winning streak going on, 22, I think, on clay. And then, because I think if you look at it, he played the Paris Olympics, and after that, he won the Geneva Open, as everyone knows, and then this is it. So this is going to be a tough battle for Sinner. Sinner has so far coasted. I think he's 15-0, I think, in terms of winning games this year or this French Open. And can he climb the mountain here? Can Novak climb the mountain? That's going to be the key question that everybody's asking. And can he get down to go to the 25th Grand Slam that he so much craves? So the person who would be waiting for him would be Alcaraz or Musetti. I mean, you never know. But he's single-handedly rewritten a lot of the sports books. So it's going to be fun playing. And I think what's impressive about Djokovic is that how he's evolved as a player as he aged. This is something even John McEnroe mentioned, that how he has evolved. And I think his serve has gotten better. I saw that many times in the match against Zverev. I think he's volleying better. But I do think that the match against Sinner, he may have to change his strategy. He just cannot go back and forth against Sinner, matching shot for shot. I mean, I think it's at this age, I don't think he can do that. What he can do, of course, is that make it a more, with a lot of these loopy forehands, we kind of give him some time to react because, like Novak moves really well. So it's going to be very interesting. The strategy that he's going to employ against Sinner is going to be something to watch for. As far as the other match between Musetti and Alcaraz, everything is training Alcaraz. I mean, that's what I picked, Alcaraz and Sinner to go to the final, and those are the 2 picks I'm going to make. Musetti recently played him in the Rome Open, but Alcaraz has not really been smooth sailing for him. I mean, the only smooth sailing for him was in the quarterfinals when he played against Tommy Paul. But that one was, when you look at it, Tommy Paul was clearly hurt. But the previous 2 matches against Zamor, it did. When you looked at it, he dropped a set, then he dropped a set against Shelton. So both of them, like I said, Alcaraz has had this one. In the case of Musetti, I mean, he played against Tiafoe. Of course, we all know about the controversy there. And then he beat Rune. So you got Rune and Tiafoe are the 2 wins that Musetti has, while Alcaraz has Shelton. So I think, and Paul, if Paul gave him a good match, but unfortunately with Paul's injury, that didn't happen. But It's going to be interesting, you know. The the match. I mean, I'm picking Alcaraz again, and then Sinner. So that's where I have, and that's where we are, guys, with the recap and preview. Thanks again.